So, hi everyone. I am a few minutes late, but I promised you today that I would be covering LinkedIn. And I can see that nobody's really joined at the moment, but that's fine because this has been recorded. So, hopefully, we will get some people on the replay. So, here's a few things about LinkedIn. I'm going to cover the 10 tips to make your LinkedIn rock. So the first thing that I want to say is number one is your photo on LinkedIn. Make sure that you have a professional photo on LinkedIn. So we're dealing with tip number one, which is make sure that your photo on LinkedIn is professional. So what I'd suggest to you, if you do have a photo on LinkedIn, make sure that it's head and shoulders. Definitely have a bit of a smile on your face. Be as professional as you possibly can on your photo. And I would even go so far as to say pay the money and get a professional photographer to take your photo. Tip number 2 for LinkedIn, make sure that you complete your summary section. But when you complete your summary section, really think about who you're talking to in the summary section and think about your keywords. So like, who is it that you are wanting to attract to your profile, and how do you want them to see you? So don't put a whole lot of boring stuff on there. Make it interesting, make it inviting, make people want to actually read your profile. Tip number 3 is to complete your profile. I cannot tell you how many people I've come across that just don't bother with their LinkedIn profile. They don't complete the profile, and they really don't have a profile for people to look at. But here's a little tip within completing the profile. When you complete the profile, so you've got your different companies that you've worked for, don't put things in like, I do accounting and I do marketing and I do this and I do that. Rather put your achievements in. So think about what you've achieved within that company and put an achievement in, so that when I'm reading your profile and I say that you've worked at XYZ company, I can see what you've achieved. And that's going to make me want to learn or know more about you. Tip number 4, and this is a fabulous tip. Not a lot of people do this, but it's a great tip for you if you are actually wanting to promote. So when you're on your profile, if you go down to the bottom of the profile, you're going to find something that says posts. P-O-S-T-S, the posts. What you do is go into posts and actually put the links of certain parts of your website in there. So if you're selling product in your website, take those product links, put it into posts, and then you can drag that area of your LinkedIn profile to the top of your page so that it comes up first. So when people are looking at your profile, instead of seeing summary, they see the post and they can see everything that you're promoting first. That is a fabulous, fabulous tip. Hardly anybody does it. The next thing that I want to say to you, and this is tip number 5, is join groups. Join groups that are going to help you in your business. And when you've joined those groups, really what you want to do is you want to see who you can connect with in those groups. Because if you don't have somebody's email address, it's really hard to connect with them. But if you're in a group, you can go to that person in the group and you can connect with them straight away within the group. So it's absolutely fantastic way of connecting. Tip number 6 is to make sure that you are interacting in groups. So build yourself as the professional. Build yourself as the person that knows what they're doing, and interact, give information. You cannot give enough information. The more you give, the more you build yourself as an expert. Tip number 7, if you are connecting with people, make sure that you're personalizing your message to them. Now, you only have X amount of characters to use when you are connecting, but make sure that you are personalizing it. LinkedIn give you a little message, but what you want to do is make sure that you are saying a little bit about why you connected with them, what it was, and it shows that you really did look at the profile and you really did want to connect with the person. Tip number 8, and this one, I tell you what, is just rife at the moment, is people connect and then they try and sell you their product straight up front. don't do it, I cannot tell you how many people will disconnect with you straight away if you're trying to sell product up front on your first message. Get to know people. Tell them a little bit about you. Tell them why you connected. And then you'll connect again and again. And I'd say if you really want to sell something, do it on the fourth time that you've had conversation, that you know the person, and that you know who they are and what they're doing. So definitely don't sell on the first message. The next thing, oh, and by the way, don't tell inappropriate jokes when you're sending out your first message. The other day, I received a really inappropriate message with a really inappropriate joke, and it was awful. And Chad's saying the worst thing is when someone pastes a wall of texts as a sales pitch right after they connect. Exactly, Chad. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So definitely don't do that. Tip number 9 is go into your profile and make sure that you have your URL or your website address so that it is your name and not a whole bunch of numbers behind. And you can do that on your LinkedIn profile. Now, the reason for that is when somebody is searching for you, or when you are creating business cards or you're creating your brochures and things like that, you can put that URL onto your business cards and your brochures and things like that. So make absolutely sure that you do get your URL. And then the last tip, but not the least, and Vina, thanks for joining, and Steve, thanks for joining, Chad, thanks for joining. But the last tip, not the least, I love this tip, is use advanced search and use it to your advantage. So when you're in the search button at the top, if you look to the side, you can see there's something that's called advanced search. Click on that. And what you can do is be very specific. So you can search for people, say, for example, that are business owners. And then if you go down on the search button, if you go down on the search button, you can see something that says in a particular area. If you click on that, you can then say, I want to search for people in this country. And then you put in a postal code of a particular area. And so in that postal code, you can then say, I want to search for people in this country, this postal code, in this particular area, miles, radius, thank you. And you can then find all the business owners in that particular area, in that radius, that you can connect with. And that's a fabulous tip when you're really, really honing in and looking for the right people for your business. Now, that's me. Those are the 10 tips. Karen, thanks for joining. I've just finished. So the 10 tips, I'm just going to go through them quickly. Tip number 1, your photo. Tip number 2, make sure your summary is right. Tip number 3, complete your profile. Tip number 4, take posts, promote and put it to the top of your profile. Tip number 5, link to groups in LinkedIn. Tip number 6, interact in those groups. Tip number 7, personalize your messages when you're sending it out to people. Tip number 8, don't sell on your first message and don't spam with rude jokes. Tip number 9, get your URL so that you can use it for your marketing. And tip number 10, use advanced search for your to your benefit. Now, I am having a full training session on this next week, Friday, New Zealand time at 10 o'clock. If you want a link to that training, it is $47, and I will take you through all of this and show you exactly what you need to be doing in every single one of these areas. You just need to go to theonlinebusinessacademy/products/LinkedIn. And I will put the link in the text for you as soon as I'm finished. But are there any questions from your side? So is there anything that you'd like to know? And I will wait for those questions. And I'm really loving trying out Facebook Live and doing these things every day. So, any questions? Vina? Karen? I'm privileged to have you guys on here because I know Chad is an expert, Vina's an expert, Karen, so yeah. No questions? Great. Is this online training, Juanita? Yes, it is. So, Karen, yes, it is. It will be on Zoom. So as soon as you actually go in and link to the product and pay for it, you will get the link to Zoom for next week Friday from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And I will take you through all of this individually. So absolutely, it is online training. Yes, it is. I think Facebook is really funny today. I think it's duplicating messages. So that is interesting. Right, are there any other questions as far as LinkedIn goes that you would like to ask? Because we are just about finished with this live video. Now, for those of you that are joining right now, you can watch the replay. And I am going to say thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come in and to watch the live video. Please share it with your friends. Please share it around. And please give me feedback if there's anything that you would like to tell me about the video, anything that you would like to feedback on. I would love to have that feedback. So jump in to my private message box and give me feedback. Great. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. See ya. Bye.